Hey, so for my first tutorials, I'll be using the demo site that we created for the NEOS conference. It looks like this, nothing special, just a landing page with some very simple content. And you can find it at this Flowback Fusion BP repository. This is the project where I have it installed, and the first thing I want to show you is some really nice trick. If you look at the default Fusion code that is provided by NEOS in the default Fusion file or in the NEOS package, you see there are a lot of objects shipped with NEOS by default, and the most important thing is the root path and the object that exists on the root path. It's the case object with a lot of options, but the most important thing that you have to know is that rendering of content in NEOS always starts at the root path. So if we open any Fusion file anywhere in the project and type something like this and save it, and maybe unset root just to be sure, and if we refresh the page, guess what we'll see? That's right, we got hello world there without any tags, without a hand tag, and this is quite cool. This allows us to see what really it allows us to strip everything from rendering and go to the very basics. So we can put any Fusion object at this path, like tag. Oh god. Like this, tag name h1. You can look up in the documentation what each object does. And so this is a tag object that would create a HTML tag of h1 with some domain content. So here we go again. You see it worked. h1. We got it. So why root object is so important? You can use it for debugging. There is a debug object in Fusion, and it works like this. You can put anything in the value of it. For example, sometimes we want to see what's inside the node object on a page, a node context variable. So here we go. We put it into debug Fusion object, and here we see everything that's available to us, and can be quite useful. And we can debug anything in this way. And so that's it. Whenever you feel lost, whenever you're confused about what's happening, whenever you want to debug your Fusion code, just unset the root path and put the tiny snippet of Fusion code that you want to debug at root path, and there you go. So if we look at the default case object that resides on the root path by default in NEOS, we see that it handles a lot of cases, like the case of a shortcut node, some preview modes, a layout mechanism, which I do not recommend to use, by the way, and the default default case, it renders a path of this root path of page. So if we just delete all of this code and say something like page hello, let's see what happens. Yeah, we get the hello, but there's not much benefit in such configuration. I think it comes from type of 3 days where we had a root page object, if you remember. So there's not much use in this convention. The convention that we currently promote in the Neos team is this. We replace the default condition in the case object with such case. We unset the render path and we choose the rendering object by such convention of looking at the current page's type and appending .document to it. So the type of a current page, let me look it up what it is. It's probably the sorry, I forgot to look it up. Probably root. Yeah. So this is the node type of a current page. So the prototype that this thing would render, ouch, would be something like this. Prototype. Let's try to just do something really silly here, like names fusion tag, and let's see if it works. Content equals .document. My fault. I do not have time for editing videos currently, so sorry for this noise. So you see, we got this high in H1, and it automatically got selected. This Fusion prototype got selected based on the current page's node type. So this is a really nice convention. If we have a page, some other page with a different type, we can automatically render it with some other Fusion prototype. So I hope so far it's clean what we do. Let's go through this stuff again. So as we've just learned, the rendering of content in Neos starts with the root path, and by adding this code we make the default rendering in Neos to always look at this particular prototype based on the node type's name, and we put it in a nice separate file like this. So I hope you've learned something useful from this example, and I'll try to make more videos explaining the best practices for creating Fusion on this particular site. For now you can watch Dominique's and my talk at the previous Neos conference about Fusion best practices, where we talk in depth about all of these aspects that we've just glimpsed through in this short video. And so you can subscribe to this channel if you want to watch more videos like this, and you can request request videos on the topic on the topics that are not clear for you in Fusion or in Neos so far. And I really love Fusion, and I would love to share with you some tips and tricks and knowledge on this topic in my free time. So I hope to record such videos, I don't know, maybe once a week. Let's see how that goes. They will be mostly unedited and kind of raw content because I unfortunately don't have time to do it professionally currently. So if this kind of content would be useful to you, I would try to do that better and do more stuff like this. And for now, I'm saying goodbye to you from this first video tutorial, and leave your comments, leave your feedback, and let's try to do some more cool Neos stuff next time.